Sometimes all it takes is one old home movie to change everything. Paul thought his Uncle John's MG had gone, sold and lost forever, just another family memory, until one afternoon an old box of forgotten 8mm films revealed something nobody expected. Because hidden in just a few seconds of film was a number plate, and that tiny clue started an extraordinary journey. For Paul, summer meant one thing, leaving Lancashire and travelling hundreds of miles to Norfolk. And every year, the whole family squeezed into Dad's Morris Minor Traveller for the holiday they look forward to every year.
So, yeah, I think I first saw the car my uncle bought it in 1973, and that's when I was about 9 years old. And that was the first time. And I remember we lived in Milnrow in Rochdale, and we used to go to Caister-on-Sea every year for summer holiday.
In 1973, Uncle John bought himself a white MGB GT. To a young boy, that looked impossibly exciting.
I remember my uncle bringing it round to my nan's house. He lived in the same village in Caister. It was a bit different to the Morris Minor. Yeah, it was always the topic of a conversation usually. And when we visited every year, sometimes it would turn up. He only used it occasionally. This sometimes came out on a special occasion.
Dad's Morris Minor was okay, but there was one car Paul couldn't wait to see. Then one day, someone paid a visit.
He came to visit us in Rochdale or Milnrow, where we lived, back in, I think, 73 or 74, soon after he bought it. And so I remember going in the back seat. I would have been about 9 or 10 at the time. That's the only time I think I went in it. I'd been driven in it.
One short journey that would stay with him forever. But funnily enough, it's often those tiny childhood memories that stay with us the longest.
So yeah, everybody grew up, and we had a family. I was living in Germany. I remember going back visiting my Uncle John. The MG was in the garage always. Every time we saw him, it was like, oh, the battery needs changing, or something was wrong with it.
Right.
And I found out later, it didn't move after probably 1994, I think was the last tax and last MOT. My children were born in 1999 and then 2001, and they when we visited, they got to sit in it in the garage.
Yeah.
But that was it, and that's where it stayed.
But as the years rolled on and the holidays changed, the children grew up. Things moved forward, and the MG never really did. It simply waited, silent, in Uncle John's garage. But then something changed forever.
Yeah, so he passed away in 2020, and then my aunt went into a home, and I understood from my mum that the car was still there in the garage where they lived. I'd said to my mum once or twice, I'd be really interested in buying it if she wants to sell it.
Yeah.
And and then my aunt sadly passed away, as I said, in December 2024, and then it was a funeral that I asked the relatives of my aunt or my mum actually asked what happened to the MG.
Right.
And that's when we discovered it had been sold.
And it seemed like the story was over. The MG had gone, or so everyone thought. But the real story hadn't even started. Months later, after clearing the house, one box arrived.
I'd asked at the funeral if I could have... my uncle used to take cine films, and he was the only person in the family that did that. So there were films there I knew of my grandparents and my dad, actually, who I'd not seen for like 30 years. My uncle picked them up. He gave me a box with all the films in.
And Paul had absolutely no idea what he was about to discover.
Put it on whilst we were there at my sister's house, and that was it. I didn't know what was going to be on the films.
There was Nan's house, Paul and his sister playing football in the street. Then, just for a moment, the camera lingered. There was the MG, just long enough to read the registration. One single frame changed everything.
I found an expired advert for sale in Beccles, I think, with a dealer. And then the following day I did a bit more digging and found a 5-minute video on YouTube that had been uploaded by Evoke Classics in Dagenham. Right. And that's when I contacted them and started to find out where it was.
Evoke Classics had kindly passed on Paul's details to the man they had sold it to, explaining that if they ever wanted to sell the car, Paul was very interested. Matt contacted Paul and explained his story.
This guy came on the phone and said his name was Matt, and he explained that his dad had bought the car.
And what he was about to hear connected two families with one remarkable MG.
But then he went on and explained that his dad sadly passed away. His dad had collected classic cars, had quite a number of them, of which the MG was one. And
Right.
he said he would get back into contact with me when he was back from his holiday.
And that's when another family's story became part of this one.
They decided with his dad before he died that they were going to, he was going to have to slim down this collection, and the MG was one of those that he was looking to sell.
So you thought, I that's
thought,
fantastic.
Yes. I thought, well, I'm very, very interested.
Yeah.
And so we discussed it. He agreed a price, and and then I said I'd buy it.
Sometimes cars connect people in ways you can never imagine. But what happened next was the biggest surprise of all. The car wasn't in Norfolk. It wasn't even in East Anglia. Somehow, it had made its way home.
And then I discovered where he was. He was up in Haywood, near Rochdale, where I grew up, only a few miles from where I grew up.
After spending decades in Norfolk, the MG had quietly returned to within just a few miles of where Paul's own childhood story had began. Some would call it coincidence, but you might just call it fate. Unbelievable twist of fate, isn't it?
It was.
Paul knew there was only one thing left to do. Paul hired the car, travelled north, collected the MG, and finally pointed it towards home. A journey he never thought he would make. So you arrive to pick up the car. What was that like?
So it was very exciting. Well, it looked so good. It had been well restored as well. It had a bit of a paint job on some of it, although some of it's original. So the bonnet and the roof, I believe, are all the original paintwork. So, but and the mileage is so low; it was less than 40,000 miles.
Of course, no classic car journey is completely straightforward. So that moment you shook hands and drove off, what was that like?
Yeah, it was, well, first thing I did, I went back to my old village and filled it up with fuel because I didn't know how much fuel it had got in, and the gauge, I discovered later the gauge actually wasn't working. I was eager to get there as soon as possible because it was getting dark then, it's September, and I knew when I picked it up from Matt that one of the headlights wasn't working properly, so it wasn't working at all. So I wanted to get there before dark, and then it was raining down the motorway, and one of the windscreen wipers came flying off. So
fortunately, the driver's side continued working. It wasn't ideal, but somehow it seemed entirely appropriate. Was your uncle just telling you it was okay?
Maybe. The funny thing was, I went the next day and then we stopped at the MG Centre near Cambridge, and I bought a new set of wipers. And it was only later when I got back here at home, I discovered in the back there was a spare wiper.
There?
Yeah, I didn't need to buy it.
That's brilliant as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love all these little twists and turns. They're amazing, aren't they? But even now, the MG wasn't completely telling the whole story. You get this box of goodies that come with the car. What's there?
Came with lots of things that I didn't know about, so I discovered a lot more about the history of it.
Paul uncovered another chapter. The MG's first owner, Captain Holtby, a Royal Engineers officer, posted to Germany before Uncle John bought the car in 1973. It contained every MOT, the tax disc, and every receipt. Even the paperwork for a £3 Motorola radio, its entire life carefully preserved inside one cardboard box. And how do you think that your uncle would feel now today, you owning this car?
I think he'd be very happy. I'm sure he would be. It's a good story, and a lot of my family are keen. My mum went in it the first time a few months ago. She'd never been in it.
Gone full circle, hasn't it?
It's gone full circle, yeah.
Which is amazing, what a fantastic car to have in your family. It must be amazing.
It is, yeah.
Today, there's 40,000 miles on the clock, which is not many for a 55-year-old MG. But perhaps that's because some classics aren't measured by the miles they've travelled, they're measured by the lives they've touched and by the memories they've carried from one generation to the next. Cars are often measured by horsepower and performance, and this one should be measured by memories. Don't forget to like and to share, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode of Classic Car Stories. But don't park the car just yet. Make sure you drive straight into the next episode, because every classic has a story to tell.